Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday the 31st of May. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is zigzagged within that rising trend channel from back in February, bounced off the floor of that channel there, roughly 81.50, and above that looking for a break of that May resistance line, 82.40, to take us back towards the 8400 level, but not getting too excited at this stage. RSI just above the 50 level. Want to see basically the market, the FTSE, close above, at or above 82.40 today on the end, or at the end of the week. We do break down the 50-day line there at 8100, and I suppose a nightmare would be some kind of move back to the old April support there, 80.35, but at the moment it looks as though the channel will hold. Moving on to the DAX, and here there was the risk of a breakdown, but we've sort of fudged the situation, so basically hanging near the old March-April resistance, 18,500, hanging above the floor of that rising trend channel from back in October, the level there around 18,300, and above that still got the chance of heading up to 19,500 as soon as the end of next month, but the thing missing here probably end of day close above 18,500, which would be nice for the end of the week, and also the RSI back above neutral 50 versus 49 and a bit at the moment. Moving on to the Dow, and this market has been punished rather hard and continues to be punished. The double top there from March-May peaks at near 40,000, and now we've got the support there from back in April, 37,600, and that's the area we're fearing this market could go to before it actually stabilizes again. In terms of the upside, if this is the worst we're going to have for May, or obviously going to June next week, then the 50-day line, 38,900 now resistance and the initial target for this market. RSI near in the low 30s, so near to the 30 level. That normally brings in a bounce. We had that last month, and obviously we had that back in October, November as well, so hopefully just a day or two away, or a session or two away from the Dow finding support. Moving on to Bitcoin, and here you can see that been consolidating for most of May above the 50-day line and the floor of that rising trend channel from October. The level there really 65,000, above that looking for the best levels ever, towards 74,000, hopefully sometime in June. Big picture is that we head back up towards the top of the rising trend channel from October. It's currently promising us a rather unlikely looking 90,000 level. Probably one would moderate that a bit, but nevertheless the channel there does look as though it is still heading for the 80,000 plus area. However, you try and change it so that the angle of ascent is less steep. Moving on to gold, and here typically volatile, but in a good way at the moment. So we have the double top here towards 2450, a bit like the Dow, I suppose, but we've now bounced just above the 50-day line, 2335, let's call it, and above that looking for basically the 2450 level again. So third time lucky to get through that. We do get through that on the top of the rising trend channel there from December, currently pointing at 2560 as soon as the end of next month is a best case scenario target. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with Cirata, and here you've got to look rather closely, obviously, given the history of the stock, but we did have a bear trap island reversal, so gapping down in April and then gapping up for May, and the current situation is that we've broken it back above both the 50-day moving average at 54 pence and the 200-day line at 64, and above that looking for this stock to head as high as the top of the triangle there from basically the early part of this year, as high as 82 or 83 pence by the end of next month, or even sooner. So a rather surprise recovery there. On to Echo, which has one of those typically frustrating price action situations. Here you can see that we've broken the falling wedge that's been in place since the end of January, and the 50-day moving average at 0.38, and above that looking for 0.50, I suppose you could call it, top of that broadening triangle from the end of February. But that 0.005 target hopefully on track for the end of June. Ideally we stay above that old May peak at 0.35 in the meantime. On to a stock which is relatively new to the market and seems to be finally getting its act together. We've got Energy Pathways, which obviously didn't have a great start to its life on the stock market, but we've got a W-shaped reversal here, and above the middle of the W at 2.3 pence and the 50-day moving average, looking for the initial support here around the 2.6, 2.7 pence level, and hopefully up to the 3 pence area by the end of June. But obviously it depends on what the company's financing situation is, but we do at least have a temporary rebound there in the shares. Moving on to Essensys, and here we were suspecting there was a turnaround coming up, and we've actually got it. Here the main achievement has been to close that gap, the top of that gap there around 18.2 pence, above that looking for the 200-day moving average at 27.6 pence by the end of next month, or even sooner. But the win here, I suppose, is that we're back above the 50-day moving average at 18 pence for the first time since the middle of January. Gold and metal is next, and here a bit of a victory run for the shares. We were looking for 23 pence by the end of next month. It looks like we could even get that almost by the end of this month, with a few hours left of May. 23 pence the initial target. If we get to that, then we can upgrade the situation here. The upper parallel of that rising trend channel heading for the upper 20s, maybe even as high as 30 pence now by the end of next month. So ideally up above 23, we head up as high as 30 pence on gold and metal. And on the downside, ideally we stay above the old peak there, so about 18 pence in the meantime, ahead of the move potentially to 30 pence. Gilt is next, and this has not exactly been a party over the recent past, but just the first signs of a turnaround here, bouncing off the 50-day moving average at 0.28, and above that looking for the top of that falling trend channel, 0.61 as high as soon as the end of July. But obviously initially just we'd be probably happy with 0.45 and the mid-May peak. What we don't want to see is an end of day close back below the 50-day line there. ITM Power is next, not normally the sort of stock that I look at, but here we have broken that resistance line there, the red one there from back in February, around the 56 pence level. Above that looking for as high as 74 pence at the top of that rising trend channel from back in January. Hopefully that is on cue later in June. Mosman is next, a good RNS today, and here we are now looking pretty strong above the 50 and 200 day lines. They're just about to cross early next week. The key here is that, well, the key thing to notice is that we've gapped up today, but basically above 0.18, looking for up to 0.32 or 0.32 by the end of June. So let's see if the shares can deliver the goods. Next contender is Prospex, which at long last is on its way. Here we've gapped to our second target there, which was around the 8 pence level, end of day close above 8, and we're looking for the upper parallel of that July resistance line as high as 10 pence by the end of June. The key here is that we stay above the previous target around 6.8 pence. Look closely, you can see the 50 and 200 day lines are both rising now, so it means we're the run up to a golden cross, and that's typically the strongest part in the cycle. On to Predator, which is back again. Hasn't been a fundraise for quite a while, which is interesting. Maybe we're due one, but in the meantime, the charting target here up to 15 pence by the end of June, while we're above the 200-day moving average, and basically April-May resistance at 10.25 pence. So it looks like a nice setup there for fans of Predator. Finishing off with another stock which is finally moving. It's been a long wait, about a year, I think, of consolidating in the 20s, maybe more than that actually for Sovereign, but we've finally broken that April resistance line there, April 2023 that is, around 28 pence, and above that the shares are already making their way towards the initial target there at the top of that triangle from June 2022, as high as 37 pence, which we're looking for during the course of June. Ideally, by the end of July, we are back up at the best levels in the mid to upper 40s. So let's see if Sovereign deliver the goods. Upside value while we hold on the right side of 30 pence. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.